What's good, y'all? This is Randall Branch. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, man, you guys see the title. Yes, even though you go to the gym, even though you lift weights, your BMI still matters. This is something that I see all the time in fitness, and it's one of the dumbest things that I see. I see a lot of dumb things in fitness, but this is one of the dumbest things. You know, a lot of men and women, actually, it's not just men. A lot of people in general in fitness have the mindset that if they lift weights, it doesn't matter how heavy they are because they're carrying muscle, right? I want you guys to understand that all of us have less muscle than we think that we have. We all have less muscle on our body than we think that we have. I don't care if you've been lifting for 5 months. I don't care if you've been lifting for 50 years. Most of us have less muscle than we think that we have. That's number one. Number two, I want you guys to understand, and this is really the big point of the video, that being unhealthy doesn't just end with people outside the gym. Right? A lot of people think that they're healthy because they go to the gym 3 days a week for 30 minutes. Or even if they go to the gym for 6 days a week for an hour and a half, they think, oh, I'm healthy. Whole time they eat like shit. They don't really train that hard, but they do show up to the gym. And there's a difference between showing up to the gym and training hard and training intensely and training with intention, just like anything else. But people forget that. People just forget everything. People just say, oh, well, I showed up to the gym, the location of the gym, so I'm healthy. But they don't have good habits in the gym. And God knows they have terrible habits outside the gym, right? So I want you guys to stop listening to most people about fitness. I'm not saying that I'm the gospel and only listen to me, but if we're just being real, like very few people know what they're talking about with fitness. And I don't know everything, but I'm not on here just spewing bullshit. And I see bullshit all the time. And this is one of the biggest things. You know, BMI is still going to matter regardless of the fact that it doesn't account for muscle. Again, like I said, you don't have as much muscle as you think that you do. And number two, we're not going to act like weight just doesn't matter. And I'm going to explain why in this video. And this is what you guys don't realize. Regardless of whether you're holding muscle or fat, a lot of people will either say, like, people who might have my framework of, hey, BMI matters. A lot of them say that your body doesn't know the difference between muscle and fat. That's not true. But weight is weight, right? So yes and no. Your body does know what is muscle and what is fat, especially when it comes to certain things. Like when it comes to like your risk for being at heart disease or like diabetes, because of being overweight. Yes, your body knows the fact that you have muscle mass as opposed to somebody who's 40% body fat, and potentially is eating bad and then being overweight. But I will say that with other things, weight is weight. And those things are usually joint, like low back, arthritis type of stuff that you could get in your knees. Your body's not like, oh, well, this guy is 6 foot, 210 pounds, which is overweight. Actually, I remember one of my first videos that went viral on Instagram. And for me, it went viral for me. Maybe not for you guys, but it got like 40, 50,000 views, right? And I was this guy commenting, I was like, bro, 6 foot, 210 pounds is overweight. And people in the comments are like, no, it's not overweight, bro. You're just small. Bro, regardless of whether you're 6 foot, 210 pounds at 10% body fat, which you're probably on gear if you are, because that is pretty big, or whether you're 6 foot, 210 and 30% body fat, you are still putting excess weight, or excess, how should I say this? Because you're putting excess weight on your body, but you're just putting excess like force on your joints and on your knees and on your low back, right? You'd feel so much better if you were lighter, right? And a lot of guys, they don't understand that. They think that just because they're in the gym and that they're lifting and that they have some muscle, that it doesn't matter how heavy they get. And then they like to say, oh, well, the BMI doesn't matter because it doesn't account for muscle. That doesn't mean that the BMI doesn't matter. Okay. And that's just from a health aspect. And what makes me so different is that I care about health and I care about aesthetics. Most people only care about one or the other. You get these guys, they care about health so much. Oh, I got to eat these foods. I got to wear my WAP watch or my Whoop watch, whatever that shit is called, because I need to track my sleep. And they're super anal about everything health, but they're like 18, 17% body fat. They're not aesthetic at all, but they're super healthy, right? And being healthy and being aesthetic are not one and the same, right? Then you get the guys who are all about aesthetics, like the looks maxers type of guys. They're taking steroids, probably partying all the time, drinking alcohol, taking recreational drugs, raving and shit like that. And they don't care about their health, right? I care about my health and I care about my aesthetics. So that's why I think my viewpoint is so important, because people who are on both sides of the spectrum, they act like the other side doesn't matter. Guys who only care about health act like it doesn't matter what you look like, which is bullshit. And guys who really care about what they look like, they're like, fuck it, I'd rather live like they're saying is I'd rather live 25 really good years than live like 60 like years. Like I just want to like be aesthetic as possible, get as much women as possible. Those are usually like the aesthetic type of guys, right? I want both. I want health and I want aesthetics, right? Now, we talked about health. We understand that being too heavy, you're putting too much stress on your low back. You're putting a lot of stress on your heart. You're putting a lot of stress on your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, your feet. Like there's even you guys can search this up. I don't know the exact numbers, but like for every extra pound is like an extra like 5 to 7 pounds of excess weight and force that you put on your body. So you guys have to keep that in mind because yes, at 6 foot 210, and then the guys will be like, oh, well, look at this NFL player. He's 6 foot 210. I'm talking about health. And this is why I responded to a guy who said this. I'm talking about health. And you combat my statement about health using somebody who gets tackled and ran over for a living like they're the epitome of health. Football isn't healthy, okay? Regardless of how you feel about it, football isn't healthy. I'm telling you guys things from a health perspective right now, okay? 6 foot, 210 pounds, using that as an example, you're putting too much stress on your body, okay? You're putting way too much stress on your body. I don't care what NFL player that you see. I don't care. You're not going to see a basketball player who's 6 foot, 210 pounds. If a guy's 6 foot, he's probably going to be somewhere between 170 and 190 if he's hooping. Probably between like 170 and 185, right? Because he actually has to I'm not saying NFL players don't have to perform, but they actually have to move their body, right? An NBA player who's 6 foot 210 pounds will be putting weight to. They'll be tearing meniscuses and all type of shit, menisci or whatever it's called, and all types of shit, right? So I want you guys to really focus on the 20 to 25% BMI range, okay? Or not percent, but number. Your BMI really should be falling in that 20 to 25, and your body fat percentage should be between 7 and 14. For women, it could be between 17 and like 25, okay? Maybe 26. Women can have a little bit more body fat. It really depends on certain things, right? But even women can be in that 17 to 24% body fat range, right? But for fellas, bro, the 7 to 14% body fat range and a 20 to 24 BMI. Now, is it possible for you to get up to a 25 to a 26 BMI and still be in that range? Yes, it is. But again, the more you creep into 26, 27, 28, the more you start putting yourself at risk for certain things. And this is where the health aspect comes in. And then even with the aesthetic aspect, I preach for you guys and also for myself, right? Because I don't just preach it. I preach what I do, right? I want to have a sleek physique. I want to look like I play a sport. I don't necessarily want to be walking around big and massive and stiff, right? You want to keep your body weight under control, right? You also want to maximize your facial features. There's a reason why a lot of models usually weigh less. It's because when you have a lower BMI, there's certain BMIs that, regardless of how much muscle you have, they just allow for certain facial features to come out. Like there's been studies showing that around a 23 to 24 BMI with a little bit of muscle is where most men are the most attractive, between a 22 and 24. I believe the 23 number being like the sweet spot, right? You don't want to be underweight. If you are below 20, technically the healthy range is between 18 and 25. You could be 18 or 19, but if you're a guy and you're watching this and you're 18 or 19 BMI, I would say get to 20. Like you probably are a little bit under muscle. But if you're a 20, 21, 22, bro, you're good. Like you could still add muscle for sure, get up to 23, 24. But these guys are telling you, bro, it doesn't matter if you're over 25, bro. They're capping, bro. Not only for health, but also for aesthetics, right? Obviously for health, I just mentioned the issues, but even for aesthetics, you want to keep your physique nice and sleek, bro. You don't need to be walking around huge, right? I tell you guys, like, it really depends on your height and weight. When I make videos like this, some guys will like, oh, what? Give me a range for my height, and I'll do it, bro. Like, you'll want to be, and like whatever. Like, I think a guy, I'll try to pull up like an example. I think a guy said he was 5'9", and his range, and I could be a little bit wrong, but I believe his range for him was like 135 to like 160, right? So it would like be in that range, and then you just work on having the best body composition as possible in the 7 to 14% body fat range. And then I'd argue, like, if you are a 25 to 26 BMI and you're 14%, so you're like, well, I'm in that range, Randall. Well, then get to 10% and get back into the healthy range. Like, stay in the healthy range of BMI, right? Because again, just chasing aesthetics and focusing on aesthetics, bro, like at some point you're going to want to be healthy, right? And you're going to want to make sure that you're not at risk for certain internal and external bodily issues, which BMI, like you guys can say what you want, but BMI accounts for that, regardless of if, or of it, regardless of if it accounts for muscle or not, it does account for overall body weight, right? So we want to keep our body weight nice and sleek. So that's the health aspect, and even for aesthetics, bro. Again, the same thing with it being sleek. We don't need to be walking around super big, bro. You don't need to be 5'10", 220 pounds. And I made a video about this a few days ago, and the guy said he wanted the BMI videos, which is why I'm making this video. But even in that video, I'm talking about, man, you don't like body game shit, bro. You don't need to be over 200 pounds, bro. You know, for a lot of guys, like if you honestly, bro, if you're not 6'4", bro, there's really no reason to be 200 pounds. You know, even I'm 6'2", and I don't. For me, and again, I preach like 7 to 10% body fat. That's the range I'm getting into. That's the range I want to stay in. Maybe 7 to 12, but even 13, 14%. That's too fat for me personally. And I'm not allowing my body weight to get over 180. I like to stay in the 170s, maybe even a little bit leaner. But once I get below 180, and I'm probably below 180 right now, and God forbid, I mean, God knows I don't plan on going back to like 190, 200, right? I'll stay between probably like just in like the 170s and just fix my body composition there, lean up, tighten up. But I don't need to be pushing my BMI to be an overweight, which is a 25 or higher. So this is the BMI video. Again, it's not just about health, but it's also about aesthetics, right? Even like, yes, with health, you will be healthier having a healthy BMI, obviously, but even for aesthetics, your physique will look more sleek and more natural the more you're in that healthy range. Yeah, you could push your BMI to like a 27, 28 and maybe be a decent body fat percentage, bro, but that's not the look that I tell you guys to go for, and that's not the look I'm going for. So, yes, BMI matters. Yes, it still matters if you lift, and it matters not only for health reasons, but also for aesthetic purposes, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys need my help, building your physique, getting lean, whatever it is, I have personalized plans down in the description. I have my ebooks and programs. I do strategy calls for those of you guys who want to talk one-on-one, and I have my coaching program down there. So make sure you guys check out the description. Follow me on Instagram at Randall Branch. I post daily. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. If you're not new to the channel, you should already be subscribed. But if you are new to the channel, then subscribe to the channel. This video is coming late, but I'm going to get, actually, no, I'm going to get my other video out first. So this is the last video for today, okay? And I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is Randall Branch Media. We're checking out, y'all. Peace.